all week long for Instant Classic, we have been doing Men with Chest Week. We need men to help moms to start fighting back. To start fighting back about what's going on in this country, particularly in the public schools. All of the sexualization, all of this bullying, all of this political intolerance, we have got to find a way to get parents, and fathers in particular, more involved. Dads, it is your job to protect your family. It is your job, moms too, but yours in a very particular way, to protect your kids from the kind of things that are happening in public schools. So all week long, we have been looking at quotes from a man for all seasons, a man for all seasons, a man who stood up to all the vicissitudes of life. He never compromised his principles. I'm talking about Thomas More, who after his execution became elected a saint in the Roman Catholic Church. Saint Thomas More. He was a man who stood for what he believed to be true. He would not let pressure and money and even the thought of death stop him from standing up for those principles. He was willing to die for what he believed. In fact, in today's quote, we have a really neat quote from Thomas More about death. As the time went on and when More used all of his wits, used all of his invention to keep himself from actually saying something that was going to go against the law, he did a great job of arranging his life in ways, living innocently. And yet the powers that be, he was too important a man, Thomas More, not to get behind the king. And so the king made it either you get behind me or we're going to kill you. And that's what they did. But speaking to his wife, here's what Thomas More said about death. And maybe if more of us had this view, we would be more willing to act and protect our kids in the way we need to. More said to his wife, "Have patience, Margaret, and trouble not thyself. Death comes for all of us, even at our birth. Death does but stand a little aside. And every day he looks towards us and muses, somewhat to himself, whether that day or the next day he will draw nigh. It is the law of nature, and it is the will of God." If you can start there, if you can lose your fear of death, it is the law of nature, and it is the will of God. Don't see it as a negative. See it as a positive. You're not exiting this world to nothingness. You're exiting this world to a much greater status, an elevation of place and person. You're leaving to a better place. What can anybody do to you in this world? Ultimately, they can take that away from you. Protect your kids. Stand up and protect your kids. You're certainly not going to have to pay that kind of a price. No one's going to demand your life from pushing back at how the public schools are miseducating your kids, bullying them, and leading them down all sorts of dark alleyways. Stand up. You're not going to go to the block. You may endure a little discomfort. You may have to bite the bullet and find alternative ways to educate your kids, but that's a small thing, isn't it, compared to what happened to Thomas More.